All right, get ready for a deep dive. Today we're going to get real about money.
Yeah, no sugarcoating here.
Yeah, none whatsoever. We're diving into this ebook, Wealth, Wisdom, and the Lies You've Been Told.
Ooh, that sounds intense.
It is. It is. So if you're tired of the same old financial advice that just doesn't seem to work,
Right.
this is for you.
Yeah,
This is going to be a wake-up call.
it's definitely a reality check for anybody who's, kind of stuck in the rat race.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
wanting to break free, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so this ebook, it covers so much ground.
Yeah.
But one of the first things that really stood out to me was this whole idea of like two different mindsets.
Okay.
The employee mindset versus the investor mindset.
Right. Yeah, that's like the core of it, right? Are you trading your time for money?
Yeah.
Or are you making your money work for you?
Exactly. And the book gives this example. Like imagine two people, right?
Okay.
One person is, working really hard, saving every penny from their paycheck. The other person is taking that same money and investing it in, let's say, a business or real estate.
Right. So they're putting it to work.
Putting it to work, yeah. And in the long run, you can see how that plays out so differently.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The person who's just saving, they might see some growth, but it's going to be slow and steady.
Right.
The investor, though, that's where you see the potential for like exponential growth.
That's the key, right? It's not just about working hard. It's about
Working smart.
working smart. Yeah. And that actually brings us to one of the big myths that the ebook tackles,
Okay, let's hear it.
the myth of job security.
Ooh, that's a big one.
It is a big one. We all kind of want to believe that, if we have a stable job,
Yeah, you're set, right.
we're set, we're good, we're secure.
Okay.
And this hit home, especially after all those tech layoffs we saw in 2023.
Oh, absolutely. It was a wake-up call for a lot of people.
It was. And the ebook really emphasizes that even the most seemingly secure jobs
Right.
can vanish overnight.
Which is a scary thought, right?
Yeah. So what do you do? How do you protect yourself?
Well, the book argues that real security comes from diversifying your income streams.
Okay.
So it's not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Right, right.
Even if that basket seems really secure at the moment.
So like what, having a side hustle?
Yeah, side hustle, rental income, anything that generates money outside of your primary job.
So if you lose your job, you're not completely,
Left high and dry.
yeah, you're not starting from scratch.
Exactly. It's about having that safety net.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Another myth that the book debunks, and this one I think is really ingrained in our culture,
Oh, tell me about it.
is the idea that, if you just work hard enough,
Success is guaranteed.
success is guaranteed, right?
Right.
Like hard work equals wealth.
Yeah, we're taught that from a young age, aren't we?
We are.
Yeah.
We are. But the ebook challenges that,
Good.
uses this example of like someone working 60 hours a week in a factory
Okay.
versus someone who, say, owns a few rental properties.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Both are working, right? Right.
But their income is generated in totally different ways.
Totally different. And that's the point the book is making.
Yeah.
It's not just about how much you work. It's about how your money works for you.
It's about building assets.
Exactly. It's about creating a system
Yeah.
that generates income even when you're not actively working.
So you can, work less and earn more, potentially.
Potentially, yeah.
Which leads us to another myth, and I think this one's going to resonate with a lot of people listening. The savings myth.
The savings myth. What's that?
This idea that, if you just diligently save your money,
Yeah, put it in a savings account.
put it in a savings account, you'll eventually be wealthy.
Right. That's the classic advice.
It is. It is. But the ebook makes a really compelling case that in an era of inflation, simply saving just isn't enough.
Yeah, especially with interest rates so low these days.
Exactly. They actually use this example of what happened in the 1970s
Oh,
when inflation was really high
yeah.
and a lot of people saw their savings basically wiped out.
Wow, that's scary. It is scary. Because if your money's not growing faster than inflation,
You're actually losing purchasing power.
you are. You are.
Yeah.
So the key, according to this ebook, is to invest your savings.
Invest it. Okay. But where?
Well, they specifically mention index funds as a good starting point. Have you heard of those?
Yeah, I've heard the term, but I'm not really sure what they are.
Okay, so an index fund is basically a basket of stocks that tracks a specific market index.
Okay.
So, for example, you could invest in an index fund that tracks the S&P 500,
Uh-huh.
which means you're basically investing in the 500 largest publicly traded companies in the U.S.
Okay, so it's like a diversified investment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's considered a relatively low-risk way to invest in the stock market.
Lower risk. Okay.
Count.
And you get to benefit from the overall growth of the market.
Exactly. So instead of trying to pick individual stocks, which can be risky, you're basically betting on the market as a whole.
Interesting. Interesting. So it's like a more passive approach to investing?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And it's something that anyone can do, even if you don't have a lot of money to start with.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, it's all about taking those first steps,
Yeah.
and not being intimidated by the whole investing world.
Right, because it can seem really overwhelming sometimes.
It can. It can. But the book really breaks it down and makes it seem a lot less scary.
Well, that's good. I'm already starting to feel like I'm learning a lot just from this conversation.
Me too. Me too.
Mm.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
Oh, there's so much more to uncover.
Oh, yeah. This is just the beginning.
I'm excited to keep digging in.
Me too. All right. So we've talked about mindset. We've talked about job security. We've talked about investing.
Right.
What else is on our list?
Well, the book also dives into the importance of financial literacy.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
It is. It is. You can't really make smart financial decisions if you don't understand the basics.
Right. It's like trying to build a house without knowing how to use a hammer.
Exactly. You need the right tools and the right knowledge.
And unfortunately, the book argues that traditional education often falls short in this area.
Yeah, they don't really teach us about money in school.
No, they don't. Which is kind of crazy when you think about it.
Right. Like, it's one of the most important things we'll ever deal with in our lives,
That's exactly. So we're often left to figure it out on our own.
which can lead to some expensive mistakes.
Oh, yeah. Learning by trial and error can be costly.
It can be. It can be.
So the book really stresses the importance of seeking out financial education outside of the traditional classroom.
Yeah, I got to be proactive.
Proactive, yeah. Whether that's reading books, listening to podcasts like this one,
Right.
taking online courses, even finding a mentor.
Yeah, there are so many resources available these days.
There are. It's just a matter of, taking the initiative to learn.
Absolutely. You got to invest in your financial education.
Okay, so we've talked about mindset, job security, investing, financial literacy. What else is this ebook hitting on?
Okay, get ready for this one. The ebook claims that truly wealthy people don't work for money.
Whoa, wait a minute. They don't work for money.
That's what it says. It's a whole different way of thinking about wealth, really.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. So what do they do if they're not working for money?
Well, they focus on building assets that generate income.
Okay, so their money is working for them.
Exactly. They're not trading their time for a paycheck. Their money is out there making more money.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. So, like, instead of relying on a salary,
Hmm?
they might own, say, a bunch of rental properties
Right. Or they might have investments in businesses or stocks.
that are generating passive income.
Exactly. Income that comes in whether they're working or not.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And this ties back to that whole idea of the investor mindset that we were talking about earlier.
It does. It does.
Right.
It's about shifting your focus from earning a wage to building assets that generate wealth.
Okay, I'm with you. So how do you actually make that shift? Like, what are some practical steps?
Well, the ebook lays out a few key actions you can take.
All right, let's hear them.
The first one, and this is probably the most important, is a mindset shift.
Okay, so you got to start thinking like an investor.
Exactly. You have to see money as a tool to be managed and invested.
Not just something you earn and spend.
Right. It's about thinking long-term, about building wealth over time.
Okay, mindset. Check.
Yeah.
What else? Continuous education.
Oh, yeah, that's crucial.
It is. It is. The financial world is constantly changing, so you got to stay on top of things.
So keep learning, keep reading, keep asking questions.
Exactly. Never stop expanding your financial knowledge.
Okay, got it. What about actually making more money? Any tips there?
The ebook talks a lot about income diversification.
Income diversification.
Yeah.
So like having multiple streams of income.
Exactly. It's about not relying on a single job for your income.
So explore side hustles, look into passive income opportunities, find ways to generate income outside of your 9 to 5.
Right. The more income streams you have, the more resilient you are to financial shocks.
Like job loss or unexpected expenses. Exactly. It's about building that financial security.
Okay, that makes sense. And of course, we can't forget about investing.
Oh, absolutely not. The ebook encourages everyone to start investing as early as possible.
Even if it's just a small amount.
Even if it's just a small amount, they highlight the power of compound interest.
Compound interest, yeah. That's where your money earns interest.
Yeah.
And then that interest earns interest.
It's like a snowball effect for your money.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And the earlier you start, the more time you have for your investments to grow.
makes sense.
And they mention index funds, again, as a good option.
They do, they do. They're a simple, relatively low-risk way to get started.
All right, so we've covered mindset, education, income diversification, investing. What else is in this ebook?
Well, the book also talks about the importance of networking.
Networking. How does that tie into money?
Well, surrounding yourself with financially savvy people can be incredibly beneficial.
Okay, I can see that.
You can learn from their experiences, get advice, and even find new opportunities through your network.
So attend events, join online communities, reach out to people you admire.
Exactly. Build those relationships with people who are already successful in the areas you're interested in.
That's great advice. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about mindset, job security, investing, financial literacy, income diversification, networking. It sounds like this ebook is packed with information.
It is. It is. It's like a roadmap to financial freedom.
A roadmap. I like that. Well, we've only just scratched the surface of this ebook, but I'm already feeling inspired.
Me too.
Yeah.
There's so much to learn and so much to do.
Exactly. So for our listeners, if you're ready to ditch the sugar-coated financial advice and get real about your money,
Get real.
I highly recommend checking out Wealth, Wisdom, and the Lies You've Been Told.
It's a real eye-opener.
It is. All right, we'll be back in the next part to dive even deeper into this ebook.
Can't wait.
See you then.
See ya. And you know what? This whole idea of financial literacy, it really connects to another key point from the ebook.
Okay, what's that?
The rich, they don't work for money.
Wait, what? They don't.
Nope. Not in the way most of us do.
So how do they make money?
They focus on building assets, things that generate income.
Oh, okay. So it's like that example we talked about earlier
Right.
with the rental properties.
Exactly. They might have rental properties or investments in businesses or stocks.
Yeah.
Things that are bringing in money even when they're not clocking in.
So their money is working for them, even while they sleep.
Precisely. It's about creating a system where your money is constantly working, even when you're not.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful stuff. And the book mentions this thing called the cash flow quadrant, right?
You got it. It's a way of visualizing different ways to make money.
Okay.
It basically breaks it down into 4 categories: employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor.
I see.
And most people,
Hmm.
they're stuck on that left side as employees or self-employed.
Trading their time for money.
Exactly. But if you want financial freedom, the goal is to move to that right side of the quadrant.
Become a business owner, an investor?
Right. Build something that generates income without you having to trade your time for it.
Okay, so how do we make that shift? What are some, actionable steps?
Well, the ebook gives a pretty clear plan. First thing, gotta shift that mindset.
Yeah, stop thinking like an employee.
Right. Start thinking like an investor. See money as a tool.
A tool to build wealth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not just something you earn and then spend right away.
Okay, mindset, check. What else?
Continuous education. You gotta keep learning about personal finance, about investing.
The financial world's always changing, right?
Always. So you gotta stay curious, keep reading, keep asking questions.
Never stop learning.
Never stop. Then think about diversifying that income.
Right. Don't rely on just one job.
Exactly. Explore side hustles, look into passive income.
Find ways to make money outside of your 9 to 5.
Exactly. That way, if something happens to your main job, you're not left scrambling.
Makes sense. And of
Yeah.
course, we got to talk about investing.
Oh, yeah, can't forget about that. The ebook says start investing as early as you can,
Even if it's just a little bit.
even a small amount. They talk about the magic of compound interest.
That's where your money makes money, and then that money makes more money.
It's like a snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger and bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the sooner you start, the more time that snowball has to grow.
Right. And they mention index funds again as a good starting point.
Yeah, those seem like a good, simple option.
They are relatively low risk, easy to get into.
Cool. And then the ebook also talks about the importance of networking. Networking, huh? I hadn't really thought about that in terms of money.
It's huge. Surrounding yourself with people who are financially savvy
Yeah.
can be so beneficial. You can learn so much from them.
Get advice, find new opportunities.
Exactly. So go to events, join online communities, connect with people you admire.
Ask questions, learn from their experience.
Exactly. Building relationships with those who are already successful.
Can really help you on your own journey.
Absolutely. And, speaking of journeys, this ebook dives into real estate as well.
Real estate, that's a whole world in itself.
It is. But the book emphasizes how powerful it can be for building wealth.
Okay, like how so?
Well, it talks about different strategies like flipping houses, owning rental properties, even investing in REITs.
So different ways to get involved depending on your risk tolerance.
Exactly. Real estate can be a great way to generate passive income, build equity, and diversify your portfolio.
But it's not without its risks, right?
Of course not. Every investment has risks. That's why it's so important to do your research, understand the market.
And make informed decisions.
Exactly. And speaking of making informed decisions, the ebook emphasizes something else crucial:
What's that?
understanding your own financial statement.
Okay, like knowing where your money's going.
More than that, it's about being able to read and understand your income statement, your balance sheet, your cash flow statement.
Whoa, that sounds kind of complicated.
It can be, but the book breaks it down in a way that's easy to grasp, even if you're not a financial expert.
So it's like having a clear picture of your financial health.
Exactly. You got to know the score of your own financial game.
I like that analogy.
Mm.
Okay, so we got to get a handle on those financial statements. Now, what about debt? That's a big one for a lot of people.
The ebook actually has a surprising take on debt.
Really? What is it?
It doesn't say all debt is bad.
So there's good debt.
There is. Good debt is debt that helps you acquire assets that will generate income,
Oh, I see.
like a mortgage on a rental property that brings in more money than it costs you.
So you're using debt to build wealth,
Precisely. Bad debt, on the other hand, is typically consumer debt.
like credit card debt.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Debt that doesn't really contribute to your financial growth.
So be mindful of the kind of debt you take on.
And make sure it's working for you, not against you.
Okay, good advice.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. This ebook really challenges a lot of the conventional wisdom about money,
It does, doesn't it?
like that whole idea of the self-made millionaire.
Yeah, the ebook actually calls that a myth.
Really? Why?
It argues that most successful people have had help along the way.
Mentors, support systems.
Exactly. And even a bit of luck.
So it's not just about hard work and grit.
It's about recognizing the role that other people and circumstances have played in your success.
Being grateful for the opportunities you've been given.
And acknowledging that you didn't do it all alone.
Yeah, that's a good perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It's humbling in a way.
It is. It is. And speaking of things that are humbling, let's talk again about job security.
Oh yeah, that illusion of security.
The ebook really drives home the point that in today's world, job security is often just that, an illusion.
Especially with how fast things are changing.
Technology is disrupting industries left and right. Skills can become obsolete overnight.
So even if you have what seems like a stable job,
You got to be prepared for anything.
always be learning, always be
You
adapting,
see, exactly. That's the key to staying ahead of the curve.
and building a secure financial future for yourself.
Absolutely. You know, it's kind of unsettling to think about
What's that?
how much of what we've been taught about money might not be true.
Yeah, it's like this ebook is shattering all those old myths.
It's making us question everything.
But in a good way, I think.
Yeah, in a way that empowers us to take control of our finances.
And create the kind of future we want.
Exactly. So let's keep digging into this ebook and see what other nuggets of wisdom we can uncover.
It sounds good to me. Let's do it.
It's really amazing how much this ebook emphasizes mindset, you know?
Yeah, it feels like it's the foundation for everything else.
Absolutely. Your beliefs about money, about wealth, about yourself, they all shape your financial outcomes.
Yeah, and I know I used to have some pretty limiting beliefs about money. Like I thought rich people are just greedy, or money changes people for the worse.
It's so common though, right? Those beliefs are everywhere.
Yeah, and the book's point is that you have to replace those negative beliefs with more empowering ones.
So instead of thinking money is the root of all evil, you start to see it as money is a tool I can use to create positive change.
Yeah, shift that perspective.
Yeah.
And the book also makes it clear that mindset is just the beginning.
Right. You got to take action.
Knowledge without action is useless, as they say.
It's so true. You can read all the financial advice in the world, but if you don't actually do anything, nothing will change.
I think a lot of people get stuck in that analysis paralysis, They're so afraid of making a mistake that they just don't do anything.
Yeah, the book really encourages you to overcome that fear and just start taking steps towards your goals.
Even if they're small steps.
Exactly. It's about progress, not perfection.
And about consistency, building momentum over time.
Right. Small steps consistently taken can lead to huge results.
And the book also talks about the importance of embracing risk and even failure, right?
Absolutely. The path to financial freedom isn't always going to be smooth sailing.
You're going to hit bumps in the road, face challenges, maybe even experience some setbacks.
It's inevitable. But the key is to see those as learning opportunities, not reasons to give up.
So develop that resilience, Cultivate a growth mindset.
Exactly. Successful people don't let setbacks define them. They learn from their mistakes and keep moving forward.
Wow. This whole deep dive has been incredibly eye-opening. This ebook, Wealth, Wisdom, and the Lies You've Been Told, it really challenges you to rethink everything you thought you knew about money.
It does, doesn't it? It's like a wake-up call.
A wake-up call to take control of your financial future.
Exactly. And the biggest takeaway for me is that financial freedom is achievable.
It's not a pipe dream.
Right. It's
Yeah.
not about winning the lottery or inheriting a fortune. It's about making smart choices, building good habits.
And having the courage to step outside of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. It's about taking ownership of your financial well-being.
So if you're feeling inspired to ditch the sugar-coated advice and get real about your money, I highly recommend checking out this ebook.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
It might just change your whole perspective on wealth. And remember, the journey to financial freedom starts with a single step.
So take that step today.
That's great advice. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.